Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crocheters Creed, and today I am going to be continuing my projects for the Binding of Isaac game, and this time we will be making three of these little heads. They're basically heads. Today we are going to be making Cyclopia. I know the names for them now. Cyclopia, the pale fatty, which is mean, but that's the name of it, and the baby. This is just what it was called. And this time we aren't really going to be using that much felt, but felt is a big factor in these projects because I feel it gives out, more detail into the project. So the materials that you will need for this project, all of them, these are all the materials for all of the heads combined. You will need black yarn, a red yarn, and light pink, of course. You will also need white yarn and a light brown yarn. You will also need your 5.5 millimeter hook, which is the only hook that you will use for these projects, as you've seen in the last few videos. You will also need your yarn needle. Where's my stitch marker? Your stitch marker, which mine is super long. Your scissors, and your glue gun. And you will also need your stuffing, but my bag is too big to put on the table. So get those materials together and let's get started. I'm sorry. And you will also need a little bit of white felt. So now let's get started. Alright, now if you have seen the first and second videos of the characters that I've made for the Binding of Isaac, or enemies or whatever, you will know that every head is made the exact same way. And since we're making three, you will be making three in pink. It looks white on the camera for some reason, but that's light pink, white, and light brown, and they're all made the same way. So the head is already made because if you go back to the pattern in the second video or the first one, you'll find it there. They're all made the same way. So after you make the head, I'm going to get you into making the different parts. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's blood that is supposed to be coming out of the Cyclopia. You have one round piece of felt, which is just a circle of felt. And then you have two black pieces for three, is that 3 or 4? I can't see. 3 red pieces. And I'm going to show you how to make all of the pieces of it. And then I'm going to combine them all. Take off your tails and then show you how to do it. So first we are going to make the eye. So I'm going to put these pieces up for now, and I'm going to show you how to make the eye. Alright, so you are going to take your, this is about to slide off. You're going to take your 5.5 millimeter hook, and you're going to take your black yarn, and you are going to make a magic circle, and this is for the eye portion. Make a magic circle, and you are going to put 10 single crochet into the magic circle. So that is 1. I have to practice on looking in the camera instead of looking at my fingers over top of it. So that's why I'm going a little slow, because I'm looking through the camera and I usually look over top. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we have 10. Now of course you're going to pull the string, and you are going to slip stitch into that first stitch. Oh, come on now. slip stitch into that first stitch and chain 1, and into your chain 1 you are going to take your stitch marker, add it into that chain 1, and we are going to start row 1. So for row 1 and 2, same way you usually start out these things. I'm going to pull this tauter so the hole closed up. Okay, so for row 1, in the first stitch you are going to put 1 single crochet. Come on, 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch, I'm sorry it's hard to see in black, in the next stitch you're going to do an increase. Alright, now that's 2 stitches in that same, I'm trying to pull it, this thing keeps coming undone. Now in the next stitch you're going to put 1 single crochet, and in the next stitch after that you are going to put an increase, and you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around for row 1. So I'm just going to finish this up on camera. This is the increase. Ooh, come on. This is the increase. It's 1 increase or another yarn. This thing keeps coming undone. Increase. Ooh, increase. Oh, come on now. Increase 1 and increase. Come on. I always hate this last little stitch. So, come on. There we go. Jeez, that was too much. And increase. And now you're going to slip stitch into that stitch with the stitch marker. And you're going to slip stitch and chain 1. Now for row 2, you are going to put 1 single crochet in the next. So I'm going to show you it, and then I'm going to leave you on your own to do the rest of the row, not the whole pattern, not the whole project. So you're going to go in and you're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So this is the first one. Now go into the next stitch, and this is the second one. Now in the next stitch after that you have 1, 2 single crochet. In the next stitch you're going to do an increase, and you are going to follow this pattern all the way around for row 2. Alright, so after you're done with that, you're going to chain 1 at the end of row 2, chain 1 and put your stitch marker through. And for row 3 you are just going to single crochet around and you're going to single crochet in every stitch around for row 3. And now after you are done, you are going to yarn off, and this will be your eye. So single crochet around the entire thing and then yarn off, and I will be back to show you how to make the mouth. Alright, so you're going to take your black yarn and your 5.5mm hook, and you're going to make a slip knot, and you are going to chain 10. So 1, ooh, already messing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now you are going to single crochet down this row. Getting halfway. Almost there. Almost there. And 4 rows 1 and 2, this is the starting row. For rows 1 and 2, you are going to chain 1 and you are going to single crochet down the entire row for rows 1 and 2. I want to mention to go back into the same stitch to line it up more. So go back in the same stitch to make it line up, just to make that clear. Okay, rows 1 through 2. Alright, now after you are done, you are going to yarn off, and that is the mouth. Now we are going to start on the blood portion of the project. So I'm going to unravel this since mine is already made. My black piece is already made. And we are going to start making the blood. So I'm going to wrap this up. And you're going to start now with your red yarn. This is all for the Cyclopia part. So you're going to take your red yarn and your 5.5mm hook, and you're going to make a slip knot. And let me move the head out the way. Make a slip knot, and you are going to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, yarn. 7 and 8. Now you're going to single crochet down those 8, that chain. Single crochet down that chain. Alright, now that is the starting row, so I don't really count that row most of the time. I just call it the starting row. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and for rows 1 and 2, you are going to, remember to go back in that same stitch, you are going to chain 1 and single crochet down the entire row. Now I'm just going to do this on camera because it doesn't take that long to do this. Especially when if you crochet fast. I used to crochet super slow, and my projects would take more time because I was not that great at it. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work again, and go back in that same stitch to line it up. This is row 2. Go in, yarn over, do 2, go in, yarn over, pull through, 2, go in, yarn over, pull through 2, and so on. Now that is the end of row 2. Now chain 1, turn your work, and you are going to put a decrease in the beginning and the end and single crochet in between. So I'm going to put my decrease, remember to go back in the stitch, even with the decreases, go back in the stitch, and I'm going to decrease, and then you're going to single crochet until the last 2 stitches. Now you know that the last decrease takes up 2 stitches, so you're going to want to do it, leave 2 stitches open. So I have my 2 stitches there. I'm going to go in, pull up a loop, go on the last stitch, pull up a loop, and decrease, and that is row 3. So chain 1, turn your work, and for row 4 you're going to chain 1, and you're going to single crochet down the row, and excuse me, you're going to single crochet down the row, but you're going to leave the last 2 stitches open, if that makes sense. So this is 1, 2, 2, 3, and you're going to leave the last 2 stitches open. And what helps for me is to after you do your 2, slip stitch into that same stitch to make it look, to make the shape a little bit better. So that is a part of the blood part. So now that you're done with that, we are going to start yarn off, and we are going to start on the 2 strands of blood that flow down the side of the mouth. Alright, for the 2 strands of blood, you are again going to take your red yarn and you are going to make a slip knot. You're going to make a slip knot, and you are going to chain 7 this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then you are going to single crochet down the row, or the chain that you just did. Almost to the end. Now I used a different type of yarn to make this. See, for this yarn, it's a lot shinier than this yarn. But this yarn I'm using just for, you know, practice purposes, or showing you. Demonstration purposes. There you go. So after you've done that, you're going to chain 1, and turn your work. And for row 1, because we just did the starting row, you are going to chain 1 and single crochet down the entire row, and that will be your 2 strands of, oop, I almost messed that up, 2 strands of blood that I believe comes down the side of his mouth. I have to look at the picture for reference. After this, you're going to yarn off, and of course, again, for the felt, you are just going to cut out a decent sized circle, and then I'm going to sew in my ends, and then I'm going to come back and show you how to assemble it all and the final product for the Cyclopia, and then we are going to move on to the pale fatty. Alright, now these are all of the parts to the thing. Now I'm going to show you how to assemble them. So this is the picture that I'm going off of, which is Cyclopia. That's the picture I'm going off of. So the pupil is sort of up to the side, right to the left upper corner. So my glue gun's getting hot, so what I like to do is sometimes I put it on the area, sometimes I don't. But again, like I always say, please be very careful, because I've burnt myself many times using this glue gun. So that's easy, simple and quick. So there you go. Make sure I like to press it down like that so you don't have to touch it. The outside will come off, but there you go. So that is your pupil that will sit like that. Now I think it's smarter to put on the pupil, but I'm going to see the mouth that you made. This part, the part that you chained, is the mouth, and the mouth turns into like this frowny face, exactly like that. So I'm going to glue on, because I have my face, I'm going to glue on my eyeball first, just so I can see it, because I've figured out the space to put it on. So you're going to glue that, make sure you have the pupil right, and I'm going to sit that right there and press down like that. Alright, so there you go. Now you're going to take this piece of dang yarn, you're going to take this and you're going to sort of shape it into a frowny face, if that makes sense, like a little frowny face, like that. Not to the point that it looks like a mustache, but you know, like that. So I'm going to put my glue on. Ooh, I almost got my finger. Ooh. Okay. Very, very careful. Be very, very careful. Okay, so I'm going to glue this on like that. Ooh. See, my fingers are getting in the way, and this is going to get dangerous. Okay, so I'm going to put this side, do that side down a little bit more, and then push it like that. Now the middle part may stick up because the middle part is going to stick up. It's easier to use this than your fingers. Alright, now. So there you go. Now you have the frowny face. Now I'm going to unplug my glue gun because it's getting a little hot. But it's still hot enough to where I can use it. So now I'm going to take my two strips of blood, and I'm going to glue them onto the ends of the mouth. So I take this, be very careful. I'm going to push this in over top into the glue so it sticks. Come on now. And then I'm going to push it up like that. Ooh, almost burnt myself. Put that together, glue that down close to it, and push it down like so. Now I might have to add in glue here. And push that down. Make sure it's sort of, you want it to look like that to where it's blood running down. And the same with this one. I hope my thing is. Be very careful. You're going to put that down next to the other end like so, and glue it down like that. So there you go, you have it like that. Now my glue gun is getting a little warmer, so the last thing that you're going to take is your piece that you made like this, and I'm even trying to look at what I did here. Okay, so I think it sits like, maybe like that. I'm trying to see where the blood goes. Yeah, the blood kind of trickles down from here. So you're going to take this, I have to fold this actually. Take it and you're going to glue it kind of right here in that area. So I'm going to glue this, in fact, like that. Or should I leave it like that? I feel like this kind of defeats the purpose now because it, you know, or maybe we'll do this. Straight like that, maybe. Let me see. I'm not really liking the way this is looking. Okay, pause for just a moment. Okay, this is the reason why adding on your face and making sure that you have enough space is important, because I no longer have enough space to put what I just made in here. So what I'm going to do instead of doing that is, if you have enough space, the blood is supposed to go underneath the eye. But what I'm going to do is just make another tinier strip, and I'm going to put it right below the eyeball. So doing this, If the blood fits underneath the eye, I would say and do it, but my blood isn't fitting. I've already added on the, see my glue? I've already added on the eye, so it's not going to work this time. But make sure that you have enough space to put on all of the extra stuff. So I'm just going to chain. My blood strands were 8. So I'm going to do, let me see, chain 1, 2, 3, 4. That's too much. 3, 3, and then single crochet down, chain 3, single crochet down, chain 1. Is that enough right there? I feel like that's enough. So I chained 3, single crochet down, and that's what I've done. So I'm gonna glue this part on, and I will come back and show you the finished product, which you've probably already seen, honestly, from me just showing you. But I kind of messed up the blood that's supposed to go under the eye because I didn't measure it properly. So I'm gonna add on this tiny part. Make sure my glue gun gets hot. Probably have to add more glue to that. And then we are going to start on the pale fatty. Don't kill me. It's not the name that I chose for it. But it's what we are going to be making next. So I'm going to put the, wait for my glue gun to get up and then show you this final product. And then we'll move on to the pale fatty. Alright, now this is the final product of the Cyclopia. Oh, my glue gun is still way too hot. Now we are going to move on to the pale fatty. So I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to just look right there. That's how you would really be seeing it. So I'm going to move this to the side. And we are going to start on the pale, I don't want to call him a fatty. I'm going to call him pale chubs, because fatty's mean. So we're going to start with the pale chubs, and or pale fluffy. Now the pale fluffy looks like this. I'm going back to my photos for reference. Now we're not making the body, we're just making the face. So that is what it looks like. Okay, so you're going to make your head. I have all of his embellishments right here. So I'm going to put them out on the table for you to see. And then I'm going to show you how to make each part like I did with Cyclopia. And then I'm going to show you how to assemble the head. And then we will move on to the baby. Alright, so I do want to point out that we need 2 tiny things of felt. Now these pieces of felt do not need to be perfect size at all. As you see, mine are kind of octagon shaped instead of circular shaped, but just cut out 2 medium-sized circular pieces of felt. So for the pale fluffy, we are going to, the head is made the same as always, but we are going to start on the eyeballs. So for the eyeballs, I'm going to move the head, and for the eyeballs, you're going to take your black yarn, and you're going to make a slip knot. And I almost made a magic circle. You're going to make a slip knot, and you are going to chain 7. This stuff is in the way. Oop. You're going to chain 7. So that is, come on now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now after that, you are going to single crochet down this chain, halfway, all right, now we are going to chain 1, that's the starting row, and for row 1 through 4, you are going to chain 1 and single crochet down the row. Now since this is a pretty small chain, I'll just do this on camera. So this is row 1, row 1, oh, yarn, running yarn, chain 1, turn your work, go on that same stitch. This is row 2, row 2. I couldn't find my okay, I couldn't find my usual scissors that I use for crochet. With everything going on, and I hope everyone's staying safe, I have been making a bunch of masks. Instead of crocheting, I've been sewing, which is new to me because I don't really sew, and a crochet mask really wouldn't be effective. I've been sewing, so I've gotten new scissors for my sewing stuff, and so I just had to use those because I don't know where my yarn, the ones that I use for my yarn is, not that I guess it really matters, but coming up on the last row, chain, turn, remember these are the eyes. Again, I'm going solely off of what it looks like, so I'm trying to make this look as normal or as realistic as possible. So after you've done rows 1 through 4, which that's what it's going to look like, you are going to chain 1, and I don't know what I wrote for my pattern, so I'm not sure. Okay, you're going to chain 1, and you are going to slip stitch down the entire row. So slip stitch in every stitch down, and of course you're going to make another one of these for the eyes, and of course the pupil will go, or the felt will go on top, and that will be what it looks like. So after you do that, I'm going to unravel this, and I'm going to show you how to make the blood under its eyes, because for some reason the ones that I have picked all have blood underneath their eyes, or they're crying blood or whatever. So I'm going to show you how to put the blood. So you're going to take your red yarn, and you are going to unravel. Going to unravel, and you are going to make a slip knot. Make a slip knot, and you are going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you're going to single crochet down that row. So that's 1, come on, 2, 3. I'm trying to make sure you see the what I'm doing. All right, now you are going to chain 1 and turn, and you are going to do an increase in the very first stitch. So go back into that same stitch, 1 single crochet, do an increase, go back in that same stitch and do another increase, and then you are going to single crochet down the rest of the row. Right now we're getting to the last stitch, chain 1 and turn it, and for rows 2 through 4 you are going to chain 1 and single crochet down the entire row. So I'm going to do row 2 for you, and then I'm going to leave you to do 3 and 4 on your own. So rows 2 through 4, chain 1 and single crochet down the entire row. Alright, now like I said, I'm using this yarn that's a lot, thinner than this one, which looks a lot thicker. So obviously this looks like looks a lot bigger, but this is what what's going on the head will look like. So after you are done with this, you are going to make the same one for the opposite eye, and the rest of this really is mostly embellishments. That's mostly what it is. It's tiny embellishments here and there. So as I've shown you the face of the pale fluffy, I'm gonna put my red yarn up for a second. These are the 2 eyeballs that I have here. Those are my 2 eyeballs. And now I'm going to go back to the picture so that you can see as reference. Now you have the head. Now you have, where are my 2 pieces of felt? You have the head, and then you have the 2 pieces of felt that are going to go on like that, right? That looks kind of creepy. Anyway. And then you have the mouth. Now the mouth, you are going to chain, ooh, come on now. The mouth, you are going to chain, let me check this, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 12, and it's going to go across like that. It's kind of frowning like that. So you're going to chain 12 for the mouth. That fell, but it's supposed to be. I don't know why I didn't write this down in my pattern, but you're going to chain 12 and then yarn off after that. Now for the face, as you can see, now that will be the mouth. That will be the mouth portion, like this. He's kind of frowning like that. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I should sit it right here to get in the background. Okay, so you have like the tiny little mouth like this, and then you are going to chain 3 and yarn off. And you see that little divot right there? It is, I don't know if you can see. Oh, excuse me. There's a little divot. You see that right there in his face? And you are going to make that and put that underneath it, and that's going to be the little divot. That's going to be the chain 3. So you're going to chain 3 after the chain 12. And then you're going to cut out a decent sized piece of yarn. Now this is going to go over top of the eyes. So the eye is going to be sitting like this. And as you can see, the little lines up here, these are the lines or yarn that will make that happen and make it look like that. So I'm going to move this out of the way. So you're going to need your chain 12 for the mouth, the chain 3 and yarn off for the little divot underneath his mouth, and you're going to need 2 pieces of yarn, one a little bit younger, one a little bit longer than the other, and those are going to be the embellishments that you put over top of the eyes. So I'm about to take off, yarn off all of my ends to everything. You can't really yarn off your chain too, so what I want you to do is pull really, really tightly and then snip it. And when you glue, you'll put the glue on first. So the little tiny tail that will be sticking out, you can just push in and make it look a lot better. So I'm going to start yarning on my tails, and then I will be back to assemble the pale fluffy. Alright, now these are the parts that I'm going to be assembling. They are without strand. So I'm going to get the part of the head that I want to put it on. I feel like this is a good place. So it's kind of lopsided here. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm looking at my picture now, and the little 2 circles that you have cut out, you're going to want to, the part that you slip stitched, you want that part to be at the bottom. You don't want it to look like that. You want the slip stitch part to be at the bottom. And then you are going to put both of your, wrong side, both of your pieces of felt at the top left-hand corner of the eye. So my glue gun is hot enough. You know what? When it's too hot, I just put the glue on top of the piece of fabric, because, or a piece of yarn, because I don't want to burn my hand. So you put it at the top of both of these pieces. Now I'm going to glue them to my head. Now again, I'm going to put these pieces up just to make sure that the pieces are together. So you want to space them out a little bit. That's why I'm sitting this like this, to make sure that my spacing out is proper. Okay, I'm going to start putting mine on. So I'm going to put mine on right here. So I'm going to get my glue. Come on, glue. I'm going to get my glue. Watch your fingers. Get my glue gun, and I'm going to put this one right here, and I'm going to stick this, see this thing right there? You just push it down into the glue, and there you have it. So you're going to glue the other piece on right about here, and running out of glue. Right about there. I feel like that's a good place to put it. So now you're going to take your red pieces. I'm trying to talk quick because my glue gun's getting hot. Okay, now you're going to take your red pieces. Now the very end of the red pieces, the tiniest end, you're going to put on the other tiny end of the part. So instead of facing it this way with the long part, you're going to face it, the tiny part, against the tiny part of the black piece. So I'm going to glue that on. Press that. Ooh, my shoulder just popped. Press that into underneath the eye. And you're going to do the same on the opposite side. Make sure that you have both pieces. This tiniest part goes connects to the other tiny part of the black piece. And you're going to glue that on. I like to do that so the strands won't come down on me. And then you stick. Did I do that right? I don't think I did that right. Shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot. Turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it. Ow! Ow! Okay, see, this is why you should pay attention, because that was just really dumb of me just now. Okay, so you have that. Looks kind of cute right now, right? Now you're going to take your, make sure that's stuck. Now you're going to take your frown and you're going to bend it like that, go across like that, and it sort of looks like that. Okay, so I'm going to run my glue across where I just sat that, and you're basically going to draw with the glue. Now this, be very careful. Oh, almost got another thing. Okay, so I'm gonna pin that there, pin that there, pin this across, and pin it down like that, and off to the side like that. So try to line this up a little bit more. Try to line that up. Okay, now you're going to take your little black piece and put it underneath like that. So you're going to draw that line right there and just stick that right on top of that. Now you have that. Now you're going to take, my glue gun's getting a little too hot. Okay. You're going to take the other piece and you're going to want to make sure that it's long enough to sit like that, where it's a little piece coming off this way and a little piece coming up that way. This is the too long one. You're going to take your shortest strand and you're going to take it to the right eye, and you're going to make sure a little bit hangs off like that, and then you're going to push it. Is that the shortest strand? I can't tell. Okay, this is the shortest strand. You're going to take that and you're going to push it up like that. So I'm going to draw my line. It should go across and then up like that. Alright. Let me put the piece of yarn like that. And then you turn it up. Ooh, don't mess this up. You better not. Oh no. Oh crap. Oh. Crap. Okay, let's tuck that glue that's showing in. Technical difficulties, technical difficulties. I'm gonna cut off a little bit of this. And glue a little bit right there. And press that down. Alright, now you're going to take your other piece of string. You're going to do the same. Ow! Frick! That hurt. Take the other piece and you're going to let it hang off the side like that as well. Maybe a little bit. Might have to cut this. Let it hang off the side a little bit. And do the same thing with the embellishment like that. So I'm going to draw this on with the glue, and then I'm going to go up like that, go up like that, and I'm going to put my piece of yarn like that against it like that, and up like that. Come on now, don't do this again. I've had enough. Just tuck it in. And then send it like that. And like that. Now, kind of looks like he's sad more than he's angry. Maybe I should have put the mouth farther up instead of there. But that is my take on it. So you have, he doesn't look angry. He kind of looks sad in this one. Look at him. Okay, so this is the pale fluffy that I've made. And I'm going to put this next to the Cyclopia. And the last one that we are going to be making today is the baby, which looks like this. I'm going to go back to my reference. Where's the pale baby? The pale baby, not the pale baby. Anyway, I'll find the baby, but I will be back to show you how to assemble the baby. It's just called the baby. I keep saying pale.